Chapter 2 Shadows Beyond the Walls Part 1 Born under 3 moons, far from Eldoria's shining walls, in a land choked by ash and shadow, Ashmain brooded upon his blackened throne. The air was thick with smoke, the ground cracked and barren, as if life itself had fled his presence. Before him knelt a gathering of his spies, shapeless creatures of smoke and shadow. Their voices, little more than hisses, carried on the wind. They spoke of what they had seen. 3 identical princes, bound by a bond deeper than blood, guarded by the greatest knights of Eldoria, and watched over by the sorcerer Durinther. A day vow of protection had been made, but so too had a weakness been revealed. Ashmain's eyes, burning like coals, narrowed as he listened. He knew the prophecy well enough to sense danger opportunity. Rising from his throne, the Dark Lord's voice rumbled like distant thunder. The triplets, they are the key. Eldoria's strength lies not in its walls, nor its soldiers, but in these children. If they grow, if they unite, they may become my undoing. We must strike before their destiny is forged. The formless being of darkness. His silent ally swirled at his side, whispering promises of ruin. Together, they began to weave a plan that would seep through Eldoria like poison, turning its strength into sorrow and its hope into despair. That very night, the first curse was unleashed. Crops that had stood tall and golden withered in the fields, their stalks shriveling into dust. Wells grew foul, their waters blackened as if ink had spilled into their depths. The people of Eldoria awoke to cries of livestock dying in their pens and orchards stripped bare by unseen hands. Fear spread quickly, for never before had such blight touched their blessed kingdom. Mothers clutched their children close, farmers knelt weeping in barren fields, and whispers of doom slithered through every street and tavern. All knew this was no natural misfortune, it was the work of the shadows. Durinther felt the weight of the curse press against his wards, and knew Ashmain had made his first move. Without delay, he rushed once more to the king, his staff blazing with runes, his face grim. "My lord," he declared, "the harbingers have begun their assault. This curse is but the herald of what is to come. We must act now, or Eldoria will choke beneath their darkness." King Nuravan called for the council and the knights to gather at once. The great hall filled with captains, nobles, and warriors as Durinther stood at its heart, his voice carrying above the fearful murmurs. The harbingers thrive in shadow. They spread despair and rot wherever they linger, but they can be hunted. The knights must ride, strike, and drive them from our soil, while I weave a great award to protect the kingdom and the boys. The knights bowed, their oaths renewed in silence, and the council gave their assent. As Durinther began his incantations, threads of silver light spread through the chamber, a shield being spun around Eldoria itself. Outside the castle walls, horns sounded, and the knights rode forth, their banners snapping against the cursed wind. The hunt for the harbingers had begun. Thus began the first whispers of a tale that would echo through the ages, the legends of the triplets of Eldoria. Their story was only just unfolding, their paths uncertain, their destinies yet unwritten. But from the night Durinther spoke his warning, the king knew that the lives of 3 young princes would shape the fate of all. Whether as saviors or as shadows, their names would be remembered, carved forever into the heart of Eldoria's history. The curse did not slither quietly. It came like a storm. By dawn, the fields that once gleamed with harvest turned black and brittle, stalks of wheat snapping like glass under the faintest touch. Wells ran dry, and a choking mist rolled over villages, dimming the sun as if night itself refused to yield. Livestock lay dead in their pens, their lifeless eyes staring at nothing. Panic spread among the people like wildfire, their cries echoing up to the castle walls. Durinther, staff blazing with runes of light, strode into the king's hall. His voice thundered as he addressed the court. "Eldoria bleeds under the hand of Ashmain. His harbinger walks among Usan, avatar of his will, a shadow that cannot be slain by steel alone. We must act swiftly, or despair will rot this kingdom from within. King Nuravan's jaw tightened, but his spirit did not falter. "Okay, then we strike," he declared, his voice carrying the strength of his crown. "Summon the knights. Let Eldoria steel and your sorcery stand as one." The council chamber rang with the clamor of resolve. Sir Alaric, Dame Serenia, Brother Kellen, and Lord Garin armed themselves and gathered their companies. The people, terrified yet desperate, looked to the castle, where banners of gold and white still flew defiantly against the darkening sky. That night, when the mist thickened to a suffocating shroud, the harbinger revealed itself. It rose from the earth like smoke spilling from 1,000 unseen cracks, coalescing into a vast silhouette. Its form shifted ceaselessly, first a beast with horns, then a towering warrior of shadows, then nothing but writhing tendrils. Its voice was not a single sound but a chorus of whispers, each one dripping with malice. "The children, give them to us, and Eldoria shall suffer no more." The knights answered with steel. Arrows, loosed by Serenia, burned with light from Durinthar's enchantments, striking into the shifting mass. Alaric's shield glowed faintly, holding back tendrils of darkness that lashed like whips. Brother Kellen's hammer rang with holy fire, each strike shattering chunks of shadow into sparks that hissed before fading. Garin carved through the mist with ferocity, though each cut felt like striking smoke. Durinthor raised his staff high, and a barrier of shimmering light erupted around the city's walls. The harbingers shrieked, recoiling, but pressed harder still, sending waves of black flame against the shield. The ground shook as the clash of magic and shadow thundered across Eldoria. The people prayed, some in silence, some aloud, as the sky above their homes tore with streaks of shadow and light. The very air burned with the struggle of power, and yet, though the harbinger faltered, it did not fall. For every blow struck against it, new shapes slithered free, smaller spawn of shadow creeping through cracks and alleys, seeking the princess. Durinthor shouted above the roar of battle, "This is but the first wave. Ashman tests our strength. He will not stop until the brothers are his." The ground quaked beneath the pounding of the harbinger's endless assault. Its tendrils lashed like serpents of smoke, battering the glowing wards Durinthor had woven around the city. The barrier flickered, its light dimming, as if a great breath sought to snuff it out. "Stand fast," cried Sir Alaric, his shield raised high, runes of protection shimmering upon its face. Each strike he took rattled the air with thunder, but the commander did not falter. Beside him, Dame Serenia's bow sank. Every arrow loosed was a streak of silver fire, each one piercing the harbinger's shifting mass. Its creature howled, its form splintering and reforming, never whole for long. Brother Kellen roared a prayer, his hammer glowing with divine fury. With every swing, bursts of radiant light tore holes in the shadow's body. "In the name of the light, be gone," he bellowed, his voice cutting through the harbinger's chorus of whispers. Lord Garin fought with unmatched ferocity, his blade ablaze with Durinthar's enchantments. Every strike carved burning trails across the mist, forcing the shadow back inch by inch. His cry was not just of war, but of defiance and oath renewed with each blow. No darkness would touch the princess while he lived. At the center, Durinthar's staff burned brighter than 100 torches. He planted it into the earth, chanting words of ancient power. The air thickened, charged with a force that crackled like lightning. Runes spiraled out from his feet, encircling the knights, binding them together in a single living ward. "Now," Durinthor roared, "strike as one." The knights obeyed. Serenia's arrow, Alaric's shield, Kellen's hammer, and Garin's swordall met in a single resounding blow against the harbinger. Their strike fused with the sorcerer's spell, exploding into a column of light so brilliant it banished the mist for miles around. The harbinger shrieked the sound of 1,000 voices dying at once, its form convulsed, unraveling like smoke caught in a gale. Tendrils writhed and shattered, its colossal frame torn apart, piece by piece. The final, piercing scream, it collapsed into nothingness, leaving only a fading echo in the night air. Silence fell. The mist dissipated. The people of Eldoria, who had watched from behind walls and windows, broke into cries of relief and triumph. Bells rang across the city. Voices rose in prayer and song, and hope sparked anew. But Durantha, though victorious, looked grim. He turned to the king and knights, his voice low yet steady. This battle is won, but Ashmain will not stop here. Dane was but his servant. The storm has only begun. The knights lowered their weapons, their breath heavy, but their resolve unbroken. Together, they had held against the darkness hand. Together, they knew they would face what came next. Like, share, and subscribe for more of the Legends of Eldoria.